one of these days I will get my hair cut, and I will feel very good about that choice because God, I cannot stand this hair. It's terrible. I hate it. I hate it. Um, I also I don't know how normal of a thing this is, but like I have this thing where if I use the same shampoo like over and over again, like um like it doesn't clean my hair as well. Like I don't know, is this a normal thing? I don't know anything about hair and I don't know anything about stuff like that. So but I've been like usually I need to like switch what I'm using cuz like I create grease like a goddamn McDonald's. So like and I'm sure the testosterone is not helping with that. Speaking of testosterone, today we're gonna talk about my voice because that's been something I've talked about a lot on the channel. Um, I There's a lot of shorts of me singing because I love singing. I've always loved singing since I was little. Um, I've always loved singing, and one of the things is that um, with uh, with testosterone, um, you know, that does change the voice, um, and that's something I've been really freaked out about and scared about, because like I've been like so excited to start testosterone. I've been so excited about the changes, and now I've been on it for like I think we're starting the 5th month, maybe. I don't know math. I started in September, um, and so um, yeah, um, and my voice is starting to change. A lot of things are starting to change. I've got a little bit of this, which I'm at the point now where I'm like, I want to shave. I want to get rid of this. I don't. It's not. I'm happy. Some days I like it, some days I don't. But it's like most of all, I'm like, I want it gone. I want it gone. I also have like under here. You see that? I don't know if you can see it in the camera. I can't tell. But yeah, this is. It's like it does not look good right now, right? It doesn't look good. It does not look good. But I'm like, I have facial hair. I have facial hair, and my voice is cracking, and my voice sounds deeper, which I like. I do like these changes. Um, it definitely feels better for my voice to be deeper. It feels more me, it feels more in my body. And there is an element that I am going through second puberty right now. I am going through second puberty, so emotions and some things are a bit, you know, a little bit, I don't know what the word is, chaotic? Maybe? I don't know. Um, and I've uploaded a couple other shorts of singing, um, and I cannot hold I cannot hold notes the way I used to. Um, I can't. I don't know the words for it because I've never done like I didn't like go to singing class or anything. Like I didn't learn how to sing, right? Like I've always liked singing. Um, and um, but it's like listening to some of my recent like shorts where I'm singing. It's like I'm not holding that note as steady as I used to be able to. I am losing the upper range, and I can't sing super well right now. Um, and to be vulnerable about it, um, that is hard. I never wanted to be a singer. Like I wanted to be a lot of things growing up, mostly an actor and then writer, just something creative. But like I've never had the desire to become a singer. I've never had the desire to record albums and like tour like that or anything because it's like I don't like I can't write music. I can't write music. I have no interest in learning how to write music. I have no interest in learning how to create music. I just like singing, and um, while my voice is changing, I'm now in this awkward stage where it's like, it doesn't sound that great no more. Like it's not, um, um, I mean, I have a bit of vanity about my voice. I guess I've always had a little bit of vanity about my singing voice. That's okay to admit. I had a good singing voice. I was that person in high school who was singing the Let It Go song from Frozen, and I was hitting the notes well, but like, and everyone's just like, oh my god, shut the fuck up, please stop. Like I was that person. I was that person. And I'm still a little bit that person, to everyone else's annoyance. But for the first time in my life, I can't hit notes right. I sound off. Like there's some like wavering to the voice, right? Like because it's changing. My voice is starting to crack more. I was talking to some friends last night on a Discord call, and like I kept laughing and sounding like a fucking yodeling goat. It was really funny. Like I'm at that stage of voice change where I sound a little bit like a barn animal, just a little bit. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Because I am happy about it. Kind of, trying to let go of, letting go of a lot of the things that were important to me as a girl, right? And I don't know. It's funny to me because it's like I never, like, as when I never felt like I never felt attractive ever in my life. Like as as a girl, I've always felt ugly. I've always felt like I looked like a monster. I've always, I've never liked my appearance a day in my life, right? Not a single goddamn time. And when I first started considering transitioning, when that first became kind of like an actual real possibility in my brain about something I could do with my body, I remember thinking like, I don't care if like I'm an ugly guy. Like I don't care if I'm an ugly guy. I just don't want to be a girl. I just anything to not be a girl, and and then I noticed like as I was starting to transition, I was I don't know. It was just really funny because I was starting to be afraid. I'm like, oh no, what if I turn into like a really like gross looking guy? What if I'm a really ugly guy? And it's like it's not like you thought it's not like you were a hot girl turning into like what do you think you're losing? It couldn't get worse, right? It can't get worse. Like it's just funny to me that was like even a thing I was worried about because it's like you're talking as if you ever liked your appearance as a woman. Like you're talking like you ever appreciated that part of you. It's like what are you fucking losing, man? You're so and currently I do feel a little, the hair is not great. It's not great. I do think it needs to go. I need to figure out how to shave. Which is, that's exciting. Like I have to figure out how to shave. I've never shaved my face before for obvious reasons. That's never been a thing I've had to do, and that is something I'm excited about because it's like, it's a very masculine thing, right? Like I get to shave my face. So like I'm excited about that. There's a lot of confusing feelings happening, and I have a lot of different feelings. It's funny because it's like I think I'm having more complicated feelings than I thought I was going to have. I kind of thought that like starting testosterone I'd be like Like I'd immediately like, I think there is a part of my brain that thought like, as soon as I start testosterone, I'll be fine, I'll be golden, everything's gonna be great, right? Like, all of my problems will be solved. Even if I didn't consciously think that, I think that's an easy thought to just have kind of like lingering in the back of your brain a little bit. In life, I find that like in general in life, like you always think like this is the answer to me feeling better. This is the answer to happiness. This is the answer to like everything being better. And it's rarely that straightforward. Even if yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Excuse me. I have, I think, some of the most crippling dysphoria a person can have. Like, the changes that I've noticed on testosterone have been more than just physical appearance. I've been noticing changes in my brain. I've been noticing changes in, like, how things look. Like, you know, a lot of... I don't know if I ever talked about this on the channel, because sometimes there's things I don't talk about on camera because I don't know how to. Like, there's a lot of things going on with me and going on in my heart and my brain where it's like, I don't want to talk about it on camera until I feel like I can talk about it in the right way, right? Like there's things that it's like, if I feel like I cannot understand it enough to present it in a way that like makes sense, then I will wait to talk about it. So there's a lot of things that have been going on in my life that it's like I haven't necessarily spoken about on camera, and even about my transition and my body, because it's like I usually like to wait to make sure I know like how I'm feeling about it and stuff, and you know, before I talk on camera. So if I ever say like sometimes I'm like, yeah, this has been a thing that no, I didn't bring it up on camera before, but yes, this is a thing. Like I mean, I guess that kind of goes without saying. I guess that's a thing, like people, because that's the thing I get anxious about with the channel, because it's like I'm trying to do, this channel is too many things. This channel is too many things, and that's okay, because it's meant to be me most of all. And unfortunately, I'm a very messy, flawed person, like the rest of the world. So, like, what was I saying? Jesus, I forgot. What was I saying? Oh, because it's like I'm trying to like document my transition a little bit. You know, track what's going on with me, and you know, it's important to talk about things as they're happening, right? And I actually get a lot of anxiety about like, have I remembered to talk about everything that's going on? Have I remembered to bring all of the relevant information about my current state of mind and being to the camera? And that's something that really stresses me out, and I'm not going to do perfect at it, right? That is not something that I'm going to do perfectly. And it's like, where's the underlying fear of if I don't bring something important to the camera? And it's like, you know, the underlying fear is that I won't be believed. If I like come on later and I'm like, hey, this is something I've been struggling with that I didn't talk about in these other videos. And then for some reason I have this fear that makes me less like, what's the word? Less, not accountable, but like, I don't know, like it's believed less, right? That's just kind of an underlying fear I've had my whole life of just not being believed, because, you know, I have known I was trans since I was young. I didn't have the words for it, and when I was told that that's not a possibility, like that's just not a thing, because I wasn't taught that trans people existed. I was taught that that's just not a thing a human can do. You're born as the gender you are, and that's who you are. That is the gender you have to be. It is stupid to want to be anything else than the gender you were born as. That's what I was taught. You know, so when I started talking about dysphoria and saying, like, I want to be a boy when I was a kid, and that got, like, shut down, it's like, you might as well wish to be a fucking mermaid or something, right? But I have always been a boy. I have. God, I've lost my train of thought. But like, you know, things like that is like, no one's gonna believe me. You know, that kind of fostered this idea in me. Nobody's gonna believe me. You know, that, and just having mental health struggles since I was little, you know, and not knowing a way to verbalize that to my parents. Like, you know, I just have this overwhelming fear my whole life. Like, nobody's gonna believe me. Nobody's gonna believe me no matter what I say. And so I feel this urgent, desperate need to always be correct about what I say, to always know what I'm talking about, to always say the right thing, to always, only speak about what's like true and real. And I'm not perfect. I don't always succeed at that. I am a flawed human being, unfortunately. But that's where that fear comes from, that like people aren't going to believe me if I don't fully understand what I'm saying, if I don't fully know what's going on. And taking testosterone, I have noticed some differences in the way my brain is functioning. I mentioned in another video, like as long as I can remember, I've always had this like dark patch in the front of my brain. I've always had this dark kind of vacant feeling spot, this like empty, like just spider-filled black spot in my brain. And that was something that sometimes when I took SSRIs or antipsychotics or something, it wouldn't take it away, but sometimes that would like kind of numb that feeling a little bit. It would create almost more of like a staticky presence in that spot in my brain instead of the painful black hole, because it felt painful. It's like, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to put psychological pain into words. But it was a painful empty spot in my brain. And for the first time in my life, that it's gone. Like, I don't have that spot anymore. Doesn't mean that I'm not still struggling with mental health issues. Does not mean I'm not still struggling with feeling depressed and, I'm struggling with a lot of emotions right now. I am going through second puberty. Puberty wasn't great for me the first time around. And while I'm actually happier about the changes happening this time around, it does still mess with your emotions, right? It does still, mess with regulation. So like, so it's not that I'm like, I don't have any mental health issues anymore. But that specific thing, that like painful spot in my brain, is gone. And, I am starting to feel more connected with my body. Again, I'm still fairly early in transitioning, right? Like I've only been taking testosterone since September. And I will say, I swear to God, also just my body's just weird. Like my body's weird, my brain's weird, right? I swear that I was not absorbing the injections as well as I should have been. Like some of it is just like how long you're taking it. I swear to God, the gel is so much better. Like I'm on the gel right now and I love it. Like, and I hate applying like topical shit to my skin. It's actually something I struggle with because I do have some skin condition issues, and I'm supposed to be applying a lot of topical things, and I hate putting anything on my skin for a variety of reasons. I have a lot of self-hatred issues, and a lot of that shows up in how I treat my body. I do not treat my body very kindly. Some of that is, self-harm. Some of that is just not being kind to my body. Like not, I feel like I don't deserve to, I don't know, it's weird. I'd feel like I don't deserve to like feel good. I don't deserve to treat my body with care. So I've never been good at applying like topical medications like that, because it's just like, I don't believe I deserve to be like touched in that way or treated in that way, right? So it has been very funny and amusing to me that every single day I have no problem putting on my testosterone gel. I am so excited to apply it every single day, and I'm like, I missed one day very early on, and I haven't missed a day since. I always remember, like, it's, it's very funny how, like gender really truly is not a choice. Gender truly really is just not a choice. It's not at all a choice. Like, I could not stop taking testosterone if I wanted to, because I need it. I need it in such a base human way. I need testosterone. I need it. I would do anything to keep my testosterone. And if there's apparently some rumors that Medicaid will stop covering it in the coming years, which is unfortunate because the gel is a lot more expensive than the syringes, and something is weird about my body because I was not absorbing the testosterone as well when I was injecting it. I don't know why that is. I have no idea why that is, but I was not absorbing it well, and I was kind of having I feel like I was having some reactions to it. I have very sensitive skin. I have a very sensitive body for some reason, and it doesn't make sense that the syringes weren't working. That doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure that's what's been happening though. So I really like the gel. I really like the gel. That's just such a sign that it's like, man, gender truly isn't a choice. It's truly not. I could not stop taking testosterone if I wanted to because I don't want to, and I could not. I could not give that up. Regardless of how I end up looking, whether I do turn into a very ugly guy, that's just not an option. I can't do it. I cannot cut that out of my life. And that's, again, not that I want to. I need it. Trans healthcare is life-saving care. It is. So, and, I was really afraid about losing my singing voice. Really afraid about losing my singing voice. That was something that I was, really panicking about as I was taking testosterone and, as I was starting, because to be honest, I've never wanted to be a singer. I never wanted to, that's not something I wanted to do career-wise, but I did want to record some music for this channel. I really wanted to have, a recording of, Take Me to Church, with my feminine voice, and then do it again when my voice has leveled out as a man. That is something I really wanted to do, and unfortunately that has not been something I was able to do. I was never able to record that song. And the reason I wanted to record that song is because that was the song that made me take the leap, right? That was the song that made me it's worth trying new pronouns. I do want to be a man, and that's something that I want to try. I'd always known, I'd always been considering, I wish I was a guy, I wish I was a guy, I wish I was a man. And that was the song that kind of just made me it was the line, only then I am human, only then I am clean, where it's what would that mean for me? And it was being a man. Being a man would make me feel that way. And so, wanted to start started experimenting with pronouns, and so I really wanted to do that, but I didn't get to. I didn't get a chance to record that song, and that is sad. It is sad. And also, I do have little shorts of me singing, throughout the channel, that have my old voice, and it's not on a microphone that I would have liked. I wish I could have had a better mic to pick it up better, because I really did love my singing voice. That was one of the few things I actually loved about myself, was my singing voice. It was something I really treasured and had a lot of vanity about. And I didn't do that. And that's okay, I'm really trying to come to terms with, the fact that it's I am human, and this place is a mess. I've always felt the need to be perfect, felt the need to fit a certain standard, to do things a certain way, and then have to I want this channel to be perfect. I want it to be. It's not going to be. Never was going to be, and it's not going to be. And it's going to be even less good than I'd like it to be. Also, like it's not what I want it to be, because I have a lot of limitations, and I'm extremely disabled. You know, I've been feeling like I'm gonna die my entire life, for many reasons, but a lot of it because just my dysphoria has been so bad. It's been so bad. I have had the most crippling dysphoria that a person can have, um, as well as a myriad of other issues, but just not, I don't know. And so there is a certain amount of letting go what this channel could be if I had all of my ability, right? If I had full access to all my energy and everything I could be capable of. A lot of this channel is letting that go. It's possible that I would have the ability to make the channel more than it is if I, wasn't struggling so much. I could put the time and energy into it. But I can't. I'm putting what I can into it, and even what I put into it currently is sometimes too much. Sometimes I do put too much into this channel. It is extremely important to me. It is the most important thing in my life right now, in a lot of ways. Whether that's good or bad. And it is worth putting everything I can into it. Also, I'm a limited person. And I do have to learn how to let a lot of these things go. I have officially lost my old singing voice. I have officially lost my ability to sing perfectly. Not actually, but you know what I mean. And I am shocked at how okay I am with that. I am shocked that it hurts, but I am okay with that. It's a part of myself that I really liked, and it's a part of myself that was very important to me. And also, my life is more important than my voice. My life is more important than my voice. And if I didn't transition, I would be dead. That's not a joke in any way. And that's not a lie, and it's not hyperbole. Trans healthcare is life-saving care, and if I had been allowed to, transition as a child and had access to trans healthcare as a child, I would not have suffered as much as I have my entire life. That would have saved my life. And I should not be here. I really shouldn't. Gender isn't a choice. It's not a choice. I have no choice about my gender, because if I had a choice, who would choose to be discriminated against like this? Who would choose to live a life that is so much more difficult than just existing as the gender you were born as, right? Who would go through the rejection of their parents? My parents don't like this choice that I've made. And the disgust for it is becoming more evident in our interactions. My parents do still love me, and they do not like this choice that I've made about my body and my life. And they do not understand that if I didn't make this choice, they would have lost their son. And they will never understand that. They will never, ever understand how close they've come so many times to losing their son. They will never, ever understand that. And that hurts. It does hurt. This is an extremely painful painful life I'm leading right now. It's a very fucking painful life. Transphobia is etched into our entire world. It is, you know, it's written into everything we think about people and gender, right? Like there's transphobia everywhere. You know, a lot of people that I meet, or, you know, it's just, I don't know. It sucks, you know, we are a minority, and that does mean something. It does mean, you know, that there is prejudice, there is discrimination, that we suffer from. And in a lot of ways, it's easier, quote unquote, you know, it's easier to, you know, stay in the closet, or at least people, you know, it's easier for the other people in our lives, right? But gender's not a choice. I would not choose to be transgender if I could. And I hope that feeling changes. I hope that sentiment changes. I hope that I can reach a point where all I can feel about myself is pride. I want to get to a point where the only thing I can feel about my gender and my choice, about my body and my life, is pride. I want to get to that point. I'm not at that point right now. I'm not at that point right now because I am losing a lot by doing this. And I'm gaining more because I'm gaining my fucking life. I'm gaining my life. I'm gaining myself. With everything I'm losing, I'm gaining myself. So it is worth whatever I have to sacrifice for that. It is worth sacrificing, you know, my voice. That is worth it. You know, it is worth sacrificing. If it comes to it, it will be worth sacrificing my family. If it comes to that. And I hope it doesn't, and I don't want it to come to that, and I do not want that to be what happens. I am trying to keep my family in my life because they are important to me. I love my family. I love my family very fucking dearly. I really do. I was just talking to my mom right before this. But I do have to choose my life over anything else, and anything that would get in the way of me being who I need to be does have to go. And if my family chooses that to be, excuse me, if my family chooses God over their son, they will lose their son. And that's just a reality. I do not want to leave my family. I love my family. I love them. They have helped me survive this far in a lot of ways. I do not want to leave them. And also, I have to live. I just have to. At a certain point, I do have to put myself first. Which is hard. I feel like that's something I've never wanted to do in my life. That's one of the things about this channel is, you know, it's multi-layered, multifaceted, but I am putting myself first by being here. And it's messy. You know, it's messy. There's a lot of parts of me on here that is difficult to digest. But I've never been able to have a space that's felt like mine in this way. I've never been able to have this much access to my own beliefs and thoughts and personhood before. And sometimes I don't like what I see. Sometimes I don't like what I see. And I think that's normal. I think all of us, you know, when we really look at ourselves, the closer you look at yourself, the more you can find things you just don't fucking like. It's really hard to look yourself full in the face. It really fucking is, for all of us. But it is also a privilege to be able to do that. It is a privilege that I am able to use this space to do that. It is a privilege to be able to see myself in such a clear way, even though it is, messy and fragmented and ugly sometimes. Being forced to be a woman has meant, I was forced to hide myself. I was forced to be someone I wasn't. I was forced to, grow and develop as a person that just wasn't real, really, in a lot of ways. It wasn't me. It was a mask, as I say. you know. Um, and funny enough, you sometimes get attached to your mask a little bit. Um, and I wouldn't want to live as that person the rest of my life, because that person would not have made it this far. That person would not be alive today. That person would not be alive today. So it is useless to try to hold on to that version of myself. But I am now in the place where I'm trying to figure out who the fuck I am, right? I have the opportunity to, and you know, I have the privilege of having my own space. I have the privilege of having a certain amount of autonomy that is limited by being disabled, but I do have a lot of autonomy here. You know. And I'm trying to get used to that because I've never really had that in my life. I've been, I don't know. I've never had this space before. I've never had, I've never had this freedom, honestly. And sometimes I don't know what to do with it. It's scary. I'm very scared. Freedom is scary. I'm really scared about the future. I'm scared about this channel. Because I would love to be a YouTuber, right? In the sense of having a community and having more than I have now. I would like that. I would love that. You know. But more than anything, I want this space to be me. It has to be me. Because this is where I get to be me. Because even in my day-to-day life, right, like, I am often not respected as I should be, just by the system we live in. You know. So having the autonomy of this space is important to me. And it is important to me that I am allowing myself to be flawed. And sometimes that's not fun. Because you do not get to choose your flaws. Unfortunately, you don't get to choose your flaws. You really don't. It's part of being human. So there are parts of me on this channel that I don't like. There are parts of me on this channel that are ugly and I don't like. And that is the privilege of being human, is, we do get the ability to have flaws, right? It should be a joy to be messy, I think. It really should be. It should be. And I think, unfortunately, online culture, Online culture encourages us to only present the parts of ourselves that are clean and perfect and, especially in this space, marketable. Um, and that encourages us to reduce ourselves, to be less human, to be less, you know, less full, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the right word is. Um, you know, I'm sure there are things I've said on here and videos I've made that, with time, I will not agree with, and with time, I will wish that I didn't do it. I'm sure that's the case. And I'm a little scared to look back and figure out that, um, but I've never felt human. I've never felt human a day in my life. And for the first time, I do a little bit. I am starting to feel, like a human. Um, because I've been allowed to transition. Because I've been able to pursue myself. And that is a fucking gift. That is a gift. Um, you know, I struggle with suicide a lot, and for the first time, you know, I am actually finding that I don't I don't want to die. I don't. That the overwhelming thought more is I don't want to die. Even if sometimes I still want to escape, even if a lot of times I still want to harm myself, or I just don't want to deal with the life I have. There's a lot of fucking awful fucking parts about my life right now. There's a lot of beautiful parts, and there's a lot of ugly, awful parts. I wanted to have more friends by now. I've been rejected by a lot of people that I've tried to befriend. I do have some friends. Again, I was talking to some last night. It's not black and white, right? Like I'm not completely alone. I'm not completely alone. But I have lost relationships in trying to pursue who I am, and I will lose more. I do think I will probably lose my family. And man, that fucking hurts. That fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. You know. My favorite part about, life has always been other people. Um, I am an extrovert. And this is a very weird choice of, I feel like people always think that it's like, oh, if you're doing something where you're talking all the time, you must be an extrovert. That's the opposite. I think most people who like to do this, most people who enjoy, making content on the internet like this, would classify themselves as an introvert, right? It's a very introverted activity. You are sitting by yourself and talking to a camera or doing something. It is very introverted, kind of isolated activity. Even if you are talking to an audience, even if you are, talking to people. And I'm not that. I am very extroverted. I love people. I love being with people. I feel most at home when I'm in a group of about like 5 to 7 people. That is where I feel most at home. And I haven't had access to that on a consistent basis for a very long time. And I do find that I do have trouble connecting with people. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I don't know what it is. I really do have a hard time making friends. I really do. I don't know why. I feel like people don't like me. And I know, maybe that's not as true as I think it is, but like sometimes it's like, I don't understand why I keep, trying to make friends and then they disappear and then they just don't want to talk to me anymore. That keeps happening. And shockingly, it's been happening more that I've been transitioning and being myself, which is completely opposite to what everybody ever told me. Like, right, like in therapy, everyone, like, when you're in therapy, people are just like, you know, like, be yourself, and the more yourself you are, you know, the more people will like you. And I've been very fucking disappointed to find out that I don't think that's true. At least for me. For some of us, I think it is. People like me less right now than, you know, when I had my mask, which I guess is more typical of neurodivergent people. I guess that is pretty typical of neurodivergent people. But, and that sucks, right? I don't feel at home with the people I have, and it's like, God, how do you even fucking find people? How do you fucking meet people? You know, I'm not very good at the Discord thing. Like, I have a couple Discord groups I'm a part of. I'm just not very good at it. I'm not good at knowing how to navigate that space. I used to be, but, you know, now that I'm very clumsily trying to figure out who the fuck I am now. You know, I am foreign to myself, right? I don't know who I am. You know, I am just starting to figure out who I am. At 30 years old, I'm just starting to figure out who I am as a person. And so I don't know how to interact with people sometimes. And I'm very lonely, very sad. You know, and hopefully I still have time, right? Like, I mean, in theory, I still have time. But, you know, I want friends. I want community. I want a family that can accept me fully, for all parts of me. And who can rejoice in my identity, who can rejoice in my masculinity as I continue to, like, find it and grow it, right? I would like to have that in my life. I don't know where to find that right now. You know, I kept saying I was going to do a D&D game with the queer group that kind of dissolved. And to be honest, I feel like a traitor for not doing that. Also, I don't feel wanted in that space right now. I don't feel wanted in that space. And I don't want to have to try to fit and conform myself to a space that I don't belong in right now. Even though it was a queer space. I don't want to live a life where I have to conform myself to a space I do not belong in, to a space I don't fit. At the same time, it is not worth living life by yourself. Life is not worth it completely alone. It's really not. So that puts me in a interesting position, right? Where I have to figure out where to find community. I need to figure out where I belong. And yeah, I am hurt and upset at the fact that that was a place I should belong, right? It was a place I should belong. It breaks my heart that a space that is supposed to be for people like me isn't. And there's a certain amount of, you know, could I revive that space myself? Could I do that? Is that something that I can put that time and energy into? Because The reality is I am sick. I need to be careful about what I'm trying to balance right now. I do not feel well, and there is a very real possibility that I will lose more supports as I keep going. Which means that I need to ration my energy. I need to ration myself. You know, I don't think I can run a D&D group. As much as I love D&D, I think it's a great space for community. I cannot manage that right now. I can't. It's a lot of work to run that kind of thing. It's a lot of work. I'm barely surviving as is, and I don't have the energy to do it. I do not have the energy to create a group. I do not have the energy to devote to that kind of space. And that does break my heart because I wish I could. Right now, this is what I can do. And even this is too much sometimes. I'm very tired right now. I feel very tired. I definitely should wrap up the video because, you know, I am overworking myself right now, unfortunately, which is really unfortunate because this channel is extremely important to me. And I need to take a break. I need to take a break, which is really hard because this channel feels like me. It feels like me more than I feel like me sometimes because this is the only space where I truly feel like I can be as much of myself as possible. Also, it's work. Also, it's hard. I'm very fucking tired. I'm very sick. This is extremely hard. The life I am living right now is extremely fucking hard. I'm extremely fucking disabled. I truly am. I'm more disabled than anyone ever thought I was in my life. And I do think that gender dysphoria is a disability in of itself. Being trans is not a disability. I'm not saying being trans is a disability, but I do think gender dysphoria should be classified as a disability. Because suffering from dysphoria has limited my abilities and it has broken me down. It has almost killed me. And anything that almost kills someone should be classified as a disability. You know, I said this in one of my Silksong videos, but it's like, you know, I do think that things like binders and even clothes, access to other trans elements that isn't just the medication, which should always be covered. Obviously, hormones should always be covered. The surgeries should be covered. There should be no argument about coverage with insurance. But I also think that I think there's an argument that other aspects of trans healthcare should be covered as well. Because, you know, if you wear glasses, that you are using I said it in my Silksong video and I can't remember how I said it, but you know, glasses are an assistive device. If you need glasses, you are using an assistive device for your disability. And those are often covered by insurance, or they should be, again. In a perfect world, they would always be. Because everybody should have access to health insurance. That should be a fucking given. Because everyone deserves to live. You know, everyone deserves to live and everyone deserves to have their health not be a matter of, you know, that you can't have access to it, right? Healthcare should be available for everyone. That's just a fact. You know, and I do think that I do think and I do hope that we can someday have an argument that treatment for gender dysphoria beyond just hormone treatment should be covered. I really do. I think binders should be considered a medical device that, you know, can be prescribed and, you know, things like that. Because it is life-saving care. Gender is not a choice, and, you know, forcing a trans person to live not as themselves is a death sentence. Even if they survive, that is asking them to die. It is. So I do have a lot of limitations, and gender dysphoria is a limitation of mine. I cannot watch my old videos right now safely. I can't. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, but my dysphoria is so bad that I cannot do that. And that is deeply fucking unfortunate. You know, I watched one of my old videos the other day because I've been trying to, and it was bad. I'm not going to go into detail, but I should have called 988. I didn't, and I did survive that night, but just trying to watch one of my videos, the level of gender dysphoria that I experienced did put me in actual danger. So sometimes I can't watch my videos anymore. But recording them and having them and uploading them is still saving my life. It is still, I don't know how to explain it and I can't prove it at this point. But recording videos and uploading them is actually trans healthcare for me. I can't prove that to you. And that doesn't make sense. It sure doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Also, it's still true. I've had a very weird experience of my gender, and I've had a very fucking weird experience with how my dysphoria has presented in myself. I'm sure I might not be the only one. There might be other people who have had the experience I've had, but I don't know it. Making YouTube videos is saving my life. Having access to this space is saving my life. And sometimes I'm still figuring out what helps and what hurts, you know? Like, recording gameplay is sometimes like, sometimes I'm trying to figure out if it helps or doesn't, because it's like, on one hand, playing video games in my head is a masculine activity because the men that I've watched most on YouTube have been Let's Players, right? So the act of recording gameplay footage is a very masculine activity for me in my head, which is, you know, that's a complicated thing because, yes, there are girls who do Let's Plays too, right? It is not a male activity to do Let's Plays. I'm not trying to be gender essentialist here, but for how I navigated the internet and how I've experienced YouTube, it is a masculine coded activity for me in my mind because of what I have engaged with, right? On the other hand, I'm like, I've been trying to figure out, I'm like, playing Silksong, am I feeling more dysphoric because technically Hornet's a girl? So, like, you know, that has been one of the difficult things, is because this is trans healthcare for me. Like, recording videos and uploading them is trans healthcare for me. Like, I notice there's a huge difference in my ability to navigate my life, whether I'm uploading videos or not. In my presentation, in my ability to just function, I have to upload videos. I do, actually. It is a need. And sometimes trying to figure out the nuance of that, because, you know, I haven't fully transitioned yet. You know, what makes me feel more masculine and what doesn't, you know, because it's like, okay, so recording Silksong, like, is a masculine coded activity for me, but also Hornet is a girl character. So, and I mean, if you've watched those videos, like, I'm kind of headcanoning my Hornet as a man, but just a man who's wearing a dress, right? So, you know, and even like the Hollow Knight videos, like, you know, cause like the character you play as in Hollow Knight, is technically genderless. And you know, that is also an interesting thing I have found, is that even like there is dysphoria in being considered non-binary, right? Like this is not a hill I'm going to die on, but like you know, for me, even they them is still uncomfortable, and having to present as non-binary, not that I have to do that, but like, you know, that is still uncomfortable. And so there is this nuance. I'm like, am I more the character and that's giving me dysphoria, or is it that this is a masculine activity that I'm doing and therefore it gives me euphoria? And I really find it changes. I mean, it's like, it really depends. I have a very weird, I don't know. Some of this I'm not saying in the right way, because there's this is one of those things where I haven't talked a lot about it because I don't fully understand how it works in my brain, because I have a very weird experience of my gender, and I have a very weird, I'm sure I'm not the only one in the entire world who's experienced it this way, but like, I do have a very weird experience of my gender. And so like trying to navigate that, like, yes, YouTube is trans healthcare for me. It actually truly is. And I cannot prove that at this point, and I don't have all of the words for it. And I'm still trying to navigate some of the, you know, some of the nuances of it. There are some nuances to how it works, and I'm still trying to figure that out. Because, you know, I do have to kind of do this on my own. I don't have a doctor who can help me with this. I don't have a fucking, you know, it's a weird fucking thing that's going on with me right now. But I do have to keep doing this to stay alive. I do. Ow, my hand is numb. So, you know, it's like, but like trying to figure that out is like, I want to record more videos. I want to record more gameplay. But like, you know, but also I do feel like in some ways I was doing a little worse in life when I was recording those. I don't know. I'm not sure. The sun is in my eyes right now, and that's really annoying. I'm gonna go blind. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me. But I really want to record more. I really want to record more, but I also need to like be resting and taking a break, and I don't know. Man, trying to figure out what helps is so hard. I can't see. This is, man, can you even see me? This is fucking, I don't know what's happening. Why is the sun in my eyes? This is a bad time to record, apparently. Anyway, I probably need to fucking wrap up soon. Oh, Jesus, how long have I been recording? I think I've been recording longer than I thought I was. I don't know. The end of this video is kind of a mess, so that's okay. That's okay. I am a mess. And I will always be a mess. Because I am human. Thank God. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to talk a little bit about how transitioning is going. The answer is good. But yeah. YouTube has been the best choice I've ever made in my life. However that pans out in the future. Even if, you know, I don't know. It has been the best choice I've ever made. As messy as it is. As messy and as complicated as it is, it has been the best choice in my life. Ow, the sun is in my eyes. Okay, I've got to stop recording before I go blind. Fuck, there's probably more shit I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember right now. And I can't think because the sun is in my eyes. So, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. This was a messy ending, but that's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably try to record some gameplay because it's been fun and I really like it. I have been really enjoying that, so maybe I'll record some. I don't know. I really want to. I want to, but I've just been like, is it helping or hurting? Am I feeling better or worse with it? but I want to. I've been having so much fun doing that. And my voice is deeper again, so like the last couple of videos are a little out of date with my voice, so anyway. I'm happy to be here, and I do need to rest because I'm extremely fucking exhausted. I'm very fucking exhausted, and I need to be resting. And I'm not. I'm doing this instead, so that's fine. Anyway, I think that's it for now. Goodbye. Goodbye. I'm blind.